Hi everyone, this is Nikki Rowland and today I have a layout to share for Simple Stories using the very beautiful Simple Vintage Cottage Fields collection. Now you may recognise this collection because it was out last year. It was so popular that it's been reprinted for this year or re-released for this year. So if you didn't get it last year, now is your opportunity. Okay, so this is my first layout made with this collection. I did have a little bit of it last year, but not very much. So it's really nice to see all of it and to be able to work with all of the beautiful things that are in this collection. I love that gingham frame. Gingham is one of my favourite prints. So I immediately drawn to that one. So I decided to make a bit of a feature of that print because it's so pretty. It's a pink and white and it's just lovely. So I decided to make a really large frame or square in the middle. So my border around the edge is 2 inches. I've cut the middle out and then I'm going to back that middle with a piece of the Simple Vintage Cottage Fields Basics paper. For any of you who don't know about the Basics paper, the Basics kit, it's a coordinating paper pack that goes with the collections. So we have one of those for all of the Simple Vintage collections. I don't think they do them for the other collections, but for the Simple Vintage they do. And they're super lovely. They're just kind of plain prints. You can see that they have a few markings on them, there's a bit of note paper, and they're very subtle, a few drips, that kind of thing. They're just really, really lovely papers to work with. They're absolutely brilliant for backgrounds because they read as a solid. They're very subtle rather than a real busy bold pattern, so they definitely get a big thumbs up from me. So like I said, I have gutted the middle of that piece of paper, the gingham print. I've distressed the edges of that middle section. I've added foam pads all around the outside as well, and then I'm going to stick that to that piece of Simple Vintage Basics paper. So I have this frame effect. I've also framed my photo using one of the chipboard frames from the collection. I love the frames. They're really lovely. I always reach for them every time. They just make a real feature of your photo. So anyway, I've mounted my photo inside my frame. So it started off as kind of like a 6x4 photo. My photo's print slightly smaller than that, so it was more like 3 3/4 by 5.5 or something like that. I have put that inside the frame and to say made a real feature. You have to be a bit careful with the frames because they have lovely embellishments, if you like, on the sides. So therefore, you just have to make sure that those embellishments are not going to cover up your subject of your photo, for example. So this photo worked really well, though, because I had space on either side of the main subjects of the photo. So that was perfect. So I also really love the 2x2 elements paper in this collection. It has obviously 2x2 inch squares all over it. It's a different pattern on the back, but certainly on the front there is a whole bunch of fun, lovely, different types of squares with different embellishment, like different prints and patterns and colours and everything on there, phrases. So I thought I'd make a feature of those. So I've cut a whole load of those out. And I'm going to kind of tuck those into the frame, have some on the outside of the frame, some tucked under the frame, and kind of create this kind of square effect going all the way around where the frame is. So I've just basically laid them in place, working out if I'm happy with how it looks. And what I'm going to do is distress the edges of all of them, and I'm going to add some machine stitching around the edges of some as well. So skip forward a bit, and here we go. I have got all of those edges distressed. Some of them are machine stitched around the outside and they are all now stuck in place. And you can see that some are on top of the frame and some are under the frame. And then I'm going to add to the effect with lots of other bits and pieces as well. So I've just added the word happiness for my title along the bottom edge of the square, and that is from the foam stickers. I'm a massive fan of the foam stickers, and I think all the customers are too, because they keep selling out really quickly. Obviously lots of people like those, but they are awesome. They have not only do they have fabulous phrases, but they have little hearts and other things as well, like smaller phrases and other icons. So they're always really lovely to use, and I always love a foam sticker because they stay where you stick them because they have flex in them, unlike chipboard, which tends to ping off. I really am a big fan of foam stickers, so that's what I've used for my title, and I've added a few of the hearts as well. And there's some flowers in this pack and some butterflies too. So I've added most of those to this layout. And then I'm just carrying on adding other bits and pieces. So taking some of the word stickers from the sticker sheet, the 12 by 12 sticker sheet, and adding those. So I've just added best ever, good times. I've got one fine day at the top. That is a piece of chipboard. And then in the sunshine is just above that. And then at the top of my photo, I've added the good life. So most of those are label stickers from the sticker sheet. And I do normally distress the edges of those ever so slightly as well, just to make them not so flat. I don't like my embellishments to be too flat. So I like to create a bit of dimension by distressing the edges a little bit. It just gives a bit of separation from the embellishment itself and the background, so that they don't blend together so much. So yeah, adding some of the decorative brads now as well. I love the decorative brads. They're my other favourite type of embellishment that Simple Stories do. I always use them. I love the fact that they're better than enamel dots, but read in a very similar way. And on the Simple Stories ones, you get different sizes, and you get some chipboard pieces as well as a bonus. So I've just added a whole bunch of those around the outside edge as well. You can see that the design has kind of been, where there were gaps where the squares were, I have filled them in with the other elements. Just hand wrote my journaling above, or to the right of the photo even, and then the date at the bottom. And that is me pretty much done. I'm just going to add some splatters of white paint. I really like how white splatters look against busy embellishments like this. So yeah, just going to add some of those. I'm going for the bottom left and top right corners rather than everywhere, so just there, and that's that one complete. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me. I hope you have been inspired to use the 2x2 elements sheet in a different way. I always wonder how I should use all those squares, so it's fun to do something different. So yeah, don't forget to check out the Simple Vintage Cottage Fields collection reprint. Thank you very much for joining me. That's Nikki Rowland for Simple Stories.